Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Meeple's People Circus and all around the world. We are here for another top 10. And
Yay.
again, we were going to have to thank Dyson Destiny in Canterbury for sponsoring us. We have got to mention one thing. So the discount code in the bottom for the shop that's valid for about a week. I didn't actually get a date this time because I'm stupid. It is only valid for the games that you see in our video. So any games that you see in our video, you can get a 10% discount on them in their store, online or in their store. So just confirming, because yeah.
Have an interesting one there. To let everybody know that small box, the code from last week, is on till the 14th of August, so they've still got another week for that one. So they will have two codes,
yes,
for small stuff and for worker placement.
So if you want to see what you can get discounted at Dyson Destiny, check out our small box video. It is on YouTube now, so yes, you can go check out on YouTube or on Facebook. Before we start, I would do our usual. Please guys, anyone watching, can you consider subscribing to me and Darius, both on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Patreon. If you can spare £1 a month, would be massive help for both of us. Yeah, we both have our separate accounts, but yeah, please consider helping us out in any way you can.
And if you're watching this particular video, make sure you're on Jay's Patreon, because like we always say, he spends a lot of time doing this. I'm almost the guest. He's the main guy. He's the main guy you should be supporting. If you're enjoying these top 10s, get onto Jay's Meeple's People Circus one.
That I will mention as well, I've managed to get Skype NDI working this week. So Darius isn't zoomed in. Yes! Oh, it's only taken me, like, how many weeks we've been doing this now? Oh.
4 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks, maybe? Yeah.
I think it's one of them.
A little while.
Huh?
But it will only get better. The more experience you get, it will only get better. So, yeah.
Hi, Dan. Dan Boyles commented. Hi, mate.
Oh, hi, Dan.
Thanks for watching.
Hello.
Or Boodle.
Yeah, cheers.
So let's get going. As well, guys, during the video, feel free to comment on what games you like the look of, and I mean, let us know what lists you want to see in the future.
Yeah.
I always do a poll every week on my Facebook group. So if you want to get involved in helping us choose what we do next, get on that group. I will always add the ones that haven't been picked plus extras. So this list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It is. It's huge. This was obviously chosen by you guys.
Yeah.
We didn't choose this list. This was from the polls. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So next week we already know what it is. It's going to be our abstract games. So
yes,
that's the winner.
Yes.
That's the winner. So let's get started with this. So
I've also, Jay, just to let you know, I've guessed your 10.
Oh yes.
And as I go along, I'm going to see if I've got any right, and I'm also going to see if I've got any in the right order.
See,
so yeah, I'll show you at the end what I guessed.
I don't need to guess Darius's list because I have it here.
You've got 10 out of 10 right. Well done.
If people want to, if someone wants to do the videos for me, so I don't know Darius's list, it would be amazing.
That would be really fun.
One day in the future.
Possibly. We'll see.
So let's start.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, obviously after you, Jay.
My number 10 is Stone Age.
That wasn't on my list.
Yes, I know. As soon as I knew it wouldn't be, because I don't own this game, but I've played it from you at OnCon.
Okay, fair enough. That's probably why I didn't put it on here, because I wasn't sure if you played it.
Yes, I've played it at OnCon. So we all know Stone Age. It is your classic worker placement. It is you're just trying to survive in the Stone Age. It is just such a it's a fun game. You can get carried away with breeding your villagers to end up with tons of extra meeples. I must admit, I've only played it a couple of times, so I'm not that's why it's not higher up. But you get it. I mean, the component quality is absolutely amazing. I love the leather cup. I really want that just for everyday use. Just yeah, because it is just so nice. It is just your classic worker placement that is just really, really enjoyable. I'm not going to go too much into it because I honestly can't go too much into it. But I've played it and I thought, no, this is pushing out some of my other ones that I had to have. That, you know.
Oh.
So yeah, that was my quick go. I'm not going to go too much.
That wasn't on my list.
I thought so.
On my guest list. On my
yeah. On your list of mine. So we'll move on to Darius's number 10.
Oh, what was your rating?
Oh,
for
sorry.
Stone Age?
Oh, people just seen a hint of what yours was. Sorry. Stone Age is a 7.6 on BGG. Have you got that? Do you know that? Can you get it on your computer? And rank is 103. This was when did I write my list? I think I did it yesterday. Wrote all the numbers down, so it shouldn't be too far off. But the joys of BGG is they alter and fluctuate constantly. Yeah, I mean, what was it the other week? We did one. Let's go back onto Darius. We did one the other week where I did my list, wrote it down the week before after the video. Darius did it, and things had changed massively.
Yeah, there was one or two. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there were a couple of games where we went, well, I haven't got that.
Yeah, it was like, what?
Anyway.
So yes, on to Darius's number 10 that you guys have all seen already.
Number 10. Oh, they've seen it already. So they've seen that it's The River, which I didn't see a lot of hype for this game. It's a Days of Wonder game.
I didn't even know it.
It's the simplest of worker placements that I've ever played. There isn't a mass amount to it, but the reason why it is on my list, because as you play, you're trying to build buildings along an S-shaped river, and as you build the buildings, you're going to be getting points depending on what type of, I guess, like a biome. There's desert, grassland, you name it, it's on there, but it's got the different types, and you get points depending on if you can get them in a row. But on top of trying to do that, you're trying to balance the amount that you can produce. So, for example, there's wood spaces that, depending on how many wood spaces are on your board, you can go and produce wood, but it's not a set amount. It depends on how many of that building type you have. So it's quite interesting in that front that you're trying to balance. It could be that you go and produce stone, but you've got no stone buildings. So there's no way of getting stone. It's a really simple worker placement. Normally, I would say it's one that is too basic, that I wouldn't like normally, that I've seen in other games. But because it only lasts about half an hour to an hour, and because I like the set collection of the different land types, that's what makes it for me. Also, the quicker you build, the less workers you get. So it stops someone running away with loads of points. If that normally, you've got those types of games where you can see that someone's steamrolling you. They're building, and they're going to win. This one's slightly different. The more you build, the less you've got. So it kind of, that's a catch-up mechanism for the other players, so to speak.
Yeah.
Really like that one. And it looks nice. The board, the artwork is wonderful. It's really, really nice little game. And I don't know if Dice and Destiny have got it in, but it is a Days of Wonder game, so it's pretty accessible.
Yeah.
It's a 6.7. It's actually rated really low, and it's on rank 2,100.
I'm not going to say anything, because I've got games that are a lot lower.
That's really low. Oh, fair enough. But yeah, that's really, I thought that was quite low, to be honest, for what it is. And it's so similar to your other standard worker placement games that I'm really surprised that it's not higher. But there you go. There it is, The River. Back to you.
So my number 9 is Papua. Or Papua.
Papua? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Didn't know that was a worker placement.
I've done a video on this. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. This is such a fun little game. It's one of them ones. It was one of my first ever review games I got given. It was my first review game given, and it's one of them. You look at it and you think, yeah, But when you actually get playing it, you've got so many options. It's got set collection, it's got loads of other things, but the main thing is placing your workers out. It is just such one of them games. It's shockingly good, or I found it really good. It does feel like it drags a little bit. I've only ever played it 2-player, but it was one of them games that it keeps coming to the table. We keep wanting to play it. It's I must admit the worker placement is probably a small aspect of it compared with most of the other game, but there is the worker placement in it, and yeah, so it's a worker placement in my mind. It's just the art of it is amazing. You can go and you've got multiple different routes of trying to win. You don't have to just do your basic worker placement side. You can try and explore and find certain animals and resources. There's so many little aspects you can do in the game. It's quite surprising. When we played it, it was definitely one that it's kind of stuck to me. It's one of them games that I'm like, okay, I really enjoy this game. It's a lot of my review games end up going from my review pile to up here, and they get forgotten about.
Oh.
And it's always on my shelf. It's in my collection. I enjoy it that much.
I've seen that in your somewhere. Yeah.
It's
I just didn't realise it's worker placement, so it wasn't on my list of guessing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's one of them that it's got so many different aspects to it, and that's when I did my list originally. I was like, that's why I went through BGG and was like, oh, that is worker placement. Yeah, and made sure. You'll be shocked later on. There's a game you'll be shocked about later on.
Okay, I'm intrigued by this one. You spoke about this before we went on. I'm intrigued by whichever game this may be that I'm going to be shocked at.
I was shocked to find out it was worker placement. So the ranking of this is a 6.9, so average.
Okay, not that high.
And the rank is 5,358.
Oh wow! Okay.
Okay, this is still not my lowest rank game on my list.
Is it? No way. Wow. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What on earth is lower than 5,000?
Yeah, I know, and I hate the fact that it is as well, because it is a loved game. It's only where it is on my list because I was like, oh no, because technically it was a lot higher, and it sort of went, oh no, it can't go there, oh no, it can't go there, and it's gone from like third to somewhere else, and it's like, okay. So
Nuts.
On to Darius's number 9.
Number 9 is specifically Tuscany for viticulture.
But I've put
right.
I've put viticulture up, but the pictures are from Tuscany, just because.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, if it was just viticulture, it wouldn't have made my list at all. I love viticulture. It's good. It's got the most boring theme I've known to any game, but you know me, I'm not the you're creating wine. You're trying to do wine tours and this, that, and the other with your vineyard, and you're growing grapes and crushing them, etc. Viticulture for me is an okay game, but Tuscany specifically, I absolutely love Tuscany because there are 4 seasons instead of just the 2. There is a trade element. Sorry. Oh yes, like in real life. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, to note that viticulture does have the 4 seasons, but you don't do any worker placement in 2 of them. You've got the spring and the fall, haven't you? Where it's just you either get cards. Yeah, it's a bit. Nah, it's okay. Also, there is the different aspect of in Tuscany. You've actually got a player order, and depending on where you are on the player order, depends on your bonuses for all 4 seasons. There is a little bit of area control in the bottom left-hand corner where you can get rewards for certain areas in Tuscany that you own with the star, and at the end of the game gives you extra points depending on the areas you control. But yeah, going back to that trade element, there's an action in there where you can trade 2 cards for 3 money or 3 money for a point, or vice versa. For me, sorted the game, because when I play Viticulture, I end up with visitors and stuff that I just go, well, none of this is any good to me.
Oh my god!
All right,
why is it doing that? Sorry, your camera jumped all over the sides then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No worries. But then in normal Viticulture, you end up with visitor cards that you go, well, I can't do anything with it, and you're kind of stuck with them. Whereas in Tuscany, if you've got cards that are no good, trade them in for money, trade them in for a point, or trade them in for grapes, because you can actually exchange cards for grapes.
Okay.
Vice versa. So yeah, for me, Tuscany is it's everything I love about Viticulture, but then it's kind of fixed it in a way. And yeah, I just really prefer it. That's why I put Tuscany, not Viticulture.
Okay.
But Viticulture is good as well. It's an 8.7. Tuscany is 8.7. Viticulture is rated lower. I can't remember what number, but I think it was 7 point something. But then Viticulture as an actual group game is rated at 21. Tuscany didn't have a rating. It just fell under Viticulture.
Yeah.
So that's ranked 21, which is quite high.
Yeah.
Compared to 5,000 anyway.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. But smaller.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, it's one of them games that I don't know. Yeah.
It's I never really choose to get it out. I must admit, it's not what. But if I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it with Tuscany. I'm not going to play it as a base game.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not Tuscany exists.
I've only got the Essential Edition, so.
Oh yeah, no, I've only got Essential Edition as well, but Tuscany is the Essential Edition.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. There must have been like back in the past a Viticulture that was just an ordinary edition, because you can get Essential Edition upgrade.
Yeah.
I don't understand what makes it essential, but that's the only version I've got anyway.
Yeah.
So is the Essential.
So yeah.
Yeah. On to
my
next.
My number 8. So my number 8 is Champions of Midgard.
That's on my list. I put that as number 7 for you.
Oh, nearly. So this is another classic worker placement. You are Vikings. You could either spend your time in a village, saving your village from bad guys, monsters, trolls, or you can go off and sail and fight even these bigger monsters. But the problem is, if everyone does that, you get penalised, because if you don't defeat the main troll every round, you get I can't remember what it's called now. You get penalised effectively. So you kind of have to sort of work together, but not work together, to try and save the town, to make sure that you don't lose points at the end of the game. And it's just, I don't know. It's one of them games. I normally spend my time going away on the boats, because I find that fun. I just love doing that. I buy myself the best boat I can and just set sail every round and go whatever. If I lose my chance, if I get enough points by fighting the big bad guys. But then when you do go there, you could possibly lose half your men. You've got the whirlpools that could potentially happen. It's that little bit more risk, but it's fun. And it's, I don't know. I hear it is a lot better with the expansions. I've never played with the expansions, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. But yeah.
To play a game of Champions of Midgard. One of my friends was really interested in playing it, so we went and played it. We played it with all of the expansions, so I don't actually know what was expansion and what wasn't.
Your basic dice are red, white, and black. All the other colour dice are all extras.
Oh, okay, because I'm pretty sure I had like purple and
yeah.
I had lots of there was loads.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's the thing.
That's the only time I've played it was with everything, and it was a roll map, and
yeah. If you go by what people say, everyone says it's better with expansions. I personally, as you can see, I like it, but it's not up there for me for worker placements. For a lot of people, this is top 3 This is a lot of people love this game. It's for me. It's yeah.
I want to try it again. I always try a game twice, but from what I remember, it was okay.
I enjoy it. I like the aspect.
The game is awesome.
I like the aspect of the dice, and there's good mechanics. And I can't even remember what year it was out, but it's quite a, 2013. It's an older.
It's an older, yeah.
It's an older.
I mean, it's about 3 years since I played it, so.
Yeah, and it's definitely hold its own in that time. It's definitely a good one. But yeah, that is so the ranking is 7.8, so it is up there, and it's 94 on BGG, so it's top 100. So
I didn't know it was in top 100. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a loved game. It's a much loved game.
Yeah.
So on to Darius's number 8. We need. Well, do you know what? If anyone's got a really deep voice and wants to do number 8, send me the files and I will add them. Please do.
Just one person just sat at home going number 9. Number 8.
Do the voices for us. So Darius's number 8 is.
No. This is Anachrony. This is actually a game I don't own.
Wow.
It's not. This is one that Andy Holliday owns, and also Cheryl and Dan own it as well. People watching this probably don't even know who those people are. But what I'm saying is, this is not a game that I actually own, but for a worker placement, I really like it. I keep trying to persuade Jade to get it, but she's not a fan, so that's why I don't own it yet. But at some point, I will do. The idea of Anachrony is you're essentially time traveling, and you're messing around with time. What I like about this is the worker placement is actually you going off, putting workers into exosuits and going off to different aspects of time and doing pretty simple actions. The thing that makes this game for me, though, is the loan system. So you can pay yourself resources, but then when you go into the future, you must pay your past self back. Otherwise, you're going to deal with rifts in time, and you're going to get penalties for not paying back what your past self paid you. So the best example, or the simplest example, right? I need, say, 1 black, so I'm going to pay myself now 1 black. If I don't pay that back to myself in the future, then you get one of these red tiles that essentially screws with your engine, and it becomes a bit of take that the game gives you. And it can really mess up your engine seriously. So make sure. But I love that loan system. It's very interesting. It gets about halfway through, and there is I can't remember what it's called now. The doom. It's the Doomsday. That's right. So I think a meteor hits the Earth, and there's a Doomsday, and then the whole board essentially changes, and you open up some new actions. But I just love the time travel aspect. I've not known any game to do time travel as well as this. In fact, I don't even know many time travel games. Stories is probably the only other one I've played. But yeah, for a worker placement, it's really good. I also like the fact that there's different workers. If you go to the main board, you have to have something called an exosuit to send your workers in. But if you're working at home on your own board, you just send your workers as normal. So at the of each round, before anything, you decide at the same time how many exosuits you're going to play with, and then the more you're adding, the more you get penalised. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a really interesting one, and I really want it in my collection, but I've got to persuade Jade to buy it.
Yeah. I've not heard of it, or I've seen it, but I didn't even know it was worker placement until I saw your list.
It's David Sturch. I can't pronounce his surname.
Yeah, Sturch. I don't know.
Sturch. Yeah, he's amazing. I actually met him. Here's another story which is irrelevant.
There is his stories.
Me and my stories. So we was at Expo, and I went with Jason Harris, and he'd bought as a leaving present for one of his friends. He bought Anachrony in the expansion, and we saw him, and I just said, by the way, you know that gift you've just bought for your friend Anachrony? That's the designer over there. He was like, oh, seriously? So we went over and said, this is a leaving present for our buddy. Would you sign it? And he was the nicest guy ever. And he was like, yeah, I'll sign it. And then, while we were there, he said, "Oh, by the way, the co-designer's right here. Do you want him to sign it as well?" So not only did we get David's signature, but we got the co-designer as well.
Nice.
Oh my word. Mind blown. And he signed my welcome to Dino World as well.
Nice.
Because he's a bit of a legend. I quite like him. He's a very nice guy. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
Nice, yeah. So, anyone watching, guys, let us know what you're thinking of the game so far. Is there anything that you like? Let us know. Comment.
Yeah.
Let us know what any of these on your top list of worker placements. So yeah, on to mine, number 7. And do you know what? It's scary. I didn't do this on purpose, but it's the same number 7 as last week's number 7.
Oh.
So if anyone saw it, so it's Targi.
That's on my list, but it was number 8. So I got Champions of Midgard and Targi round the other way.
Yeah.
But that was
I prefer this than Champions Midgard. So
yeah.
this, I mean, I'm not going to go massively into it again because I had a good rant about this last week, but it's such a unique little worker placement. I just love the whole setup of it, and it's another one of the games that I got given as my starting to be a reviewer games. Luckily Cosmos were really kind and sent me quite a few games to review, and and this was one of them. And it's again, Cosmos do really good worker placements. They're the same company. Devere and Cosmos, they're the same company. But yeah, I love the way you lay out the board, and it is like Darius, it's the cross between the placements. It just works really well for it. Obviously with the expansion, it's going to add so much more to the game. Looking forward to getting that. That's definitely going to be added to my collection, because I enjoy that game, and I know that massively bumps it up because you couldn't get it in English for years.
So German for a long time. Yeah.
So it's one of them that I definitely would want to try and see if it bumps up the game higher on my worker placement list. So that would be a massive one for me. But yeah, I mean, if you want to know more about this, watch last week's video. But yeah, I'm going to cut it short there. And I haven't got any stories about it. I've not met the designer. I know I know who used to work for Cosmos, Stephen, that sent me it.
That's
my story. Check out the video I did with him of Roll for Adventure. That was a fun one. That was a fun video. That was my first 4 or 3 camera setup tried. That did not work well. This was early days. This is when I had like sticks and sellotape to record with. I say that, I've only been around a year, but yeah.
So what's the ranking on that one?
So it is a 7.6 and it's 128 rank. So
nice.
It's top 200. Nice. A lot of my games are actually top 500. I'm going to say 500. They're probably top 300. So a lot of my games are high up for once.
I totally forgot to give my ranking for Anachrony, by the way.
What is your ranking?
It's an 8.1.
Wow.
It's number 48. It's actually in the top 100.
Nice.
Anyway,
I was just looking to see how many are. That's really good. Yeah, it's a game I will try one day. So on to Darius's number 7. Number 7. This is one that was just on your list a minute ago, and I wondered why that you were saying, and I'll leave it there. Because you've played this a lot more than me, so for me it was like I will let you talk about this game because you've got the snow edition, the normal. You know this game more than me. I've played it like 2 or 3 times.
I have got the anniversary one.
So
this is Stone Age. It is actually right behind me, so for anybody that wants to know what he's on about with the Snow Edition, I traded in my normal edition to get the, I think it's the anniversary, I can't remember if it's the 10-year one, but it's a beautiful shiny box, as you can see there, Z-Man Games. It's got the base game in it, but it's also got the winter side with some expansions in there, which I really, really like. They're not massive expansions. They're mini expansions, but they still add a little bit of flavour. But yeah, Stone Age, like you said, you're set in prehistoric times. You are trying to scavenge for whatever goods you can to either breed lots of workers, or you can get you're trying to build buildings, aren't you, to try and get points. That's basically the whole purpose of it. But for me, even though it's very basic in terms of the worker placement, at the same time it's very unique, because when you go to a location and produce a certain type of good, you have to decide how many workers are going there. So it might be, I'm going to send 3 workers into the wood. That's how many die you then have to roll to try and produce that good. And then depending on how rare the good is, depends on what you divide it by. So if you've got 3 workers, you roll 3 die. If you roll a 12, that will get you 4 wood. So it's a kind of, there's a little bit of luck element there, which I know some people aren't a fan of, but I always say that you can manipulate that luck quite well. There are cards in the deck that you can buy that give you bonuses to your die roll, but you've also got these little hammers that you can purchase throughout the game that add to your die manipulation. So you might roll really low, but then you've got all these cards and tiles that you can use to up that die roll. Yeah, really unique in my eyes. I really like that. I also like the fact that you place your workers and then everybody takes the actions. So one by one, you then take those actions. It's not a case of put the worker and then do the action like most worker placements. It's you're setting up your whole turn and then you're playing it all out. And I really like that addition. The mini expansions, the reason why it's higher up is because of some of those mini expansions. One of them that I really enjoy is you've got animals and carnivores that you can come into contact with.
Okay.
Wolves, bears, the lot. If they come out, everybody's die rolls are affected by however much. There's a number on the particular card, and that's how much it's affected by.
Yeah.
You have to. It's not co-op, but as a group, you've got to send as many workers as there are players there. But the more workers you have, the more benefits you'll get for destroying them. So yes, it can take up a couple of actions to try and get rid of those animals, but the rewards are greater. There's also igloos in it as well if you play the winter side, which are a different type of building that you can build, and that's a nice little addition as well. Yeah,
it's cool.
Lovely little game, Stone Age. I think it should be in everybody's worker placement collection.
It's one that I wanted. When you sold it, I was gutted that it went.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't realise you wanted it.
Yeah,
when I sold it.
It's one that I've wanted for a long time. It's one I will get one day.
Yeah.
It's just finding it nowadays. You don't see it that often. You see the anniversary.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Chaos Card's got the anniversary, about 60 odd quid, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not spending 60 odd quid. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, it is a 7.6 and it's ranked 103.
So hey,
just out of the.
I can.
And the same.
I can imagine it was in the top 100 recently, because that's the thing. Games jump and fluctuate, and it's a top 100 game easy.
I think when it released, I think it probably was. Yeah.
Probably top 10.
But yeah.
So on to my number.
That's my one.
On to my number 6.
Hey.
My number 6 is Netetunka.
That was on my guest list, but not in that place.
So
cool.
So this one, I've got the deluxe version of this game. So I think I've got the rank for the normal version, not the deluxe. I might have to look up that in a minute, because I know they're different. Because the deluxe edition, you get a lot more, but it is just such a enjoyable. I think I did a live playthrough of this. This is another one I've done a video of, but it's just such an enjoyable game. It's the way there's certain locations where you place a worker, you effectively have lost that worker for 2 goes because it has to do another action, but you kind of want to do that action. It's a really good action, so you kind of think, okay, I'm going to sacrifice it, and it's worth the 2 rounds of losing your workers. But the thing is, you can get carried away and put 2 or 3 in them locations, and you kind of screw yourself. but it is your very traditional worker placement. It's full-on worker placement. You've got a bit of set collection, but it's mainly placing your workers out, gaining resources, using the resources to buy this, collect that. You're trying to build. Oh my god! Why can't I even think about what they're called? Whatever they are, the tents. No, the tents, whatever. But my brain's gone blank. I don't know. But you're trying to build your totem pole, and it's just, especially with the deluxe version, you've got all like the pieces individual. All your meeples have all screen printed. All the storage is absolutely amazing. I'm trying to slowly find it on the computer right now. But yeah, you're just trying to. It just works really well. It's on the backside you've got the winter, so things are harsher. It's not as easy to get your resources. So you've got the two options. You have a travelling nomad that comes in that changes every round. It's just a really well thought out game, and it is absolutely stunning. It's one of them. Yeah, that's what made me buy the game. That's what made me pick this game up, and yeah, it's just a good looking worker placement game. I'm gonna go. Nice. I'm gonna look at the ranks. This is 7.0. So standard Netatunga is 7.0. Deluxe version is 7.3.
Yeah.
So the standard version is 5,963. The deluxe is 1,508.
Wow. Okay. So the standard edition obviously flunked, and then deluxe must add quite a lot for that. It does.
Jump. Because especially it's the Kickstarter, so you've got so many little expansions. It's the pieces. The quality of the game is probably double the quality. So the pieces are better. Everything about the whole game is that much better. So that's why when I wrote this list, I was like, I'm going to write the lower one, and I should have written both, but I just didn't think about it until I started live streaming. But yeah, it's definitely. It's one of them games. If you can get hold of the deluxe version, get it, because it's that better. You've got the double dual board that you can put all your pieces in. They sit in there lovely, and it just feels better. Where the other one, it's all cardboard, and most of the pieces are just all cardboard and standard discs, and it's kind of, it lets it down.
Clearly not as good from the rankings. It's clearly not as good the standard version.
So yeah,
excellent.
So on to Darius's number 6.
Number 6, my one is Architects of the West Kingdom. This is part of the whole, the Raiders, Explorers. That Renegade have got a whole series now. They've got Paladins, and I believe there's a new one coming out as well. Can't think what the new one's called, but anyway, it's part of that series. But Architects, even though some of the other ones are worker placement, Architects does something for me that I like more so than all the others. That's the fact that when you do a worker space, you get more rewards for the more workers that go to a location. So for example, the first worker you place might get you 1 wood, second one will then get you another 2, netting you 3. Then but then there's that push your luck element of someone then might come along and arrest they might gather your workers. So there's a spot on the board where you can pay money and you can actually round up other people's workers, and then you can send them to prison, and you get rewarded for the more of the opponent's workers you send into prison. So it might be that you might have 4 workers out in a location. I'll round them up, send them to prison, and get 4 money for it. Or people can pay to take them off me before they go to prison, but that's going to cost them money. Really like that. There's also a whole black market involved. There is a reputation track, and the more you go to the black market, and if you steal from the tax stand, and there are actions that you can do that's very naughty, so to speak, you can lose reputation. But if you go to the black market, you get risk for reward. So you might get penalised and you might end up with workers going to prison for it, but the reward is greater. On the flip side, if you choose to go, if you don't want to do the crime side of it, you can be the good guy in the town, and you can go up in the reputation, and you can actually start building towards a cathedral. So they're the two. I like the fact that there's two elements to the game. You could be the all-round bad guy, stealing stuff, stealing resources, stealing money, or you can be the good guy and build towards the cathedral. The only thing is, building towards the cathedral doesn't seem like the way forward. Every time I've tried to be the good guy and build towards it, I haven't actually done very well in terms of points. I much prefer this game with 2 or 3 players. I don't like it with 5 players because it takes far too long. I've actually had a 4-hour game of this with 5 people.
Wow.
Absolutely ridiculous. It does not need to be that long. It's a basic worker placement. Well, I say basic. The actions are basic. But yeah, when it comes to 5 players, it just seems to take forever. And I don't know why. I think it's because there's more people stealing more workers. With a 2-player game, you tend to have about up to 5 or 6 workers in one location before someone kind of steals from you. I think if you're playing 5-player, as soon as you've got 2 or 3 workers in a location, people are taking your workers left, right, and centre. I think that's why it's a longer game. I really like the fact that you start with 20 workers, and the more actions you do, they dwindle down throughout the game. Get them back from prison or off of other players. They go back into your pool. Don't ever leave yourself with just 1 worker, though.
Sorry about the car going past.
That's all right. Yeah, it seems a bit of a speedway on your end, doesn't it?
It is.
But yeah, I love Architects. I must admit, I quite like Raiders was the worker placement that was before this one. That's okay, but I find that's just a bit too easy, a bit too simple.
It's the same.
And then that.
It's the same
Sorry?
artist as Robin Hood and the Merry Men. I'm just seeing if it's the same designers, or so I was just nosing when you were.
Fair play.
I was just.
I must admit, I'm.
No.
Yeah.
So
I don't really like.
The designers are different.
the
The artist is the same. Sorry.
Same one. That's okay. Yeah, I must admit, I don't like the new one. The Paladins are that's compared to Architects. Paladins is incredibly boring, in my opinion.
Isn't that higher on BGG ranking?
What, Paladins?
Yeah.
I don't know. This one's 7.8 and it's ranked 75. I don't know where Paladins is. Have you got it on your screen?
No.
I know that it's very Marmite. I've seen people on posts, like on Board Game Trading chats, saying, do I get Architects or do I get Paladins? And it's like, Architects is clearly the better one. But obviously, this hobby is, people view games in different ways.
It's 90.
Okay, so this one is higher on the ranking as well. Fair enough. I just find that, Paladins, I mean, I've only played it twice, and I remember both times just going, nah, Architects is better. However, at one point, I did want the whole collection, but Shipwrights is really expensive. I don't want Paladins, and the new one coming out, I didn't back. So, unless that comes out of retail,
you can buy Robin Hood for me. It's the same artist. It looks the same.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people selling Robin Hood.
Don't know why.
That's not the same.
I don't know
it's
why.
Not the same. No, it's not the same company though, Robin Hood.
It's not. No.
Anyway, so that's Architects of the West Kingdom. Back to you.
My number 5. So my number 5, you're going to kick yourself over this one.
Oh.
It's Parks. Keymaster Games. Parks.
No.
You know Parks?
Yeah, I know Parks.
But yeah.
It's not worker placement.
Here it is. Here it is. It's worker placement. It's on the worker placement list. I added this only because I saw it on the worker placement list.
Actually,
yeah,
it is, but you've only got 2 workers.
But it's still worker placement. I added this because it was on the worker placement list because I love this game. It wasn't originally on my list.
It's a quality game, but it's the same kind of thing as Tokaido, and I'd say that's more action selection. But I mean, if it's on the list, it's on the list.
I'll be honest. I originally had viticulture on my list, and this bumped it out because I saw it was a worker placement. I didn't have it.
Fair.
I didn't have it on my list, but then I saw this was a worker placement. So then my list got changed, and I found another game that my whole list got changed. But BGG says it is, so it is.
The more I think, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah. So
just very scraping the worker barrel there, but yeah.
But it is. I love this game, so it made it on my list. So this is probably one of the best looking games that I own. I do go for games for looks. I'm weak for good looking games. I am. I'm so shallow when it comes to buying games. If a game looks amazing, I'm like, oh, buy it. And if it's good, I'm happy. But for me, I didn't buy this. This was a review game that I got sent. Thank you so much for Keymaster Games, because they are amazing and sent me this to review with the game mat as well. It's just such an enjoyable little game. You're sending your workers across the trail, and you're collecting resources to try and buy parks to collect the most parks, and whoever at the end has the highest score, that's effectively it. It plays over. I've not played it in so long. I think it's played over 4 seasons, or 4. Yeah. But it just plays really well. It's just, it's so easy to learn. Even though in my video that I've messed up the rules and I need to re-record the video, but I need someone to play with to do the video, and yeah, will happen one day. But yeah, it's just such a fun little game. It's just. It is just pretty. It's one of them games that you just look at on the table, and people just look at it and go, wow. I think Canterbury Con, what was it? I can't even remember the name of the con now. I played this a lot there. This was a game that kept on getting played, because again, it was I think it hadn't even been released by that point, and it is very one of them games that you see it and you're like, oh, what is that? And it sort of draws you to it. And yeah. It is a definitely one of them fun little games that, yeah, it's enjoyable, and I'm glad I got it. It's always on my shelf. It's always one of them games that will sit there forever. They've got the expansion out or coming out, or they did a Kickstarter for the tent expansion, the camping expansion.
Okay.
That looks amazing. I'm hoping I get an email and they go, oh, we're going to ship you a copy. I'd love that.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
But yeah, they've. It's just I don't know what it is. It's just the box doesn't look the best. It looks nice, but once you get into the cards, compared with the cards, once you're going through the cards and you're looking at all the pieces, you're just like, wow. I mean, the first player token is the best first player token in any game ever.
Oh yeah, the national park
symbol, enamelled metal badge, like effectively a coin. It's amazing.
Very nice.
But yeah, it's a good solo as well. It's enjoyable solo as well as up to 5 players. So
yeah,
this.
I'd say it's...
Huh?
Go on, sorry.
No.
I was going to say, for anybody that's played Tokaido, I'd say it's a better Tokaido.
I've not played Tokaido.
Okay, that one you're walking in Japan, and you're trying to go along a trail.
Okay.
It's a trail where you're taking actions as you go, but a lot of those actions are a bit random and a bit boring. Whereas Parks is more for a purpose and it's collecting resources. Yeah. But I'm just saying it's very similar to that one. But yeah. What's the?
So this is a 7.9, and
nice.
It's 268. So top 300.
Considering it's not available in retail,
it is
actually
now.
really hot.
It is.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, that's a game I've
But
got to
the
go buy.
problem
then.
is, it's more. I think it's more of an American game. Keymaster Games.
Yeah.
I know they struggle getting games over to the UK. I think I actually sent David a link to actually get some of their games once, because they're trying to find their UK suppliers. But obviously, a lot of board game companies are like these Keymaster Games. They're not exactly the biggest company, so getting games over to the UK is a lot harder for them than the big companies that get everything over here.
Yeah. Well, as you probably can see, guys, that it is Dinogenics. Another one that is it's not my game. I've been doing a lot of videos and pictures of this of recent. So Dinogenics is a dinosaur game. It is a case of collecting DNA cards or sets of DNA cards to get dinosaurs into your park. You've also got the opportunity to make facilities either in your commercial area or in the park itself. You're building fences and pens to actually house the animals. Every dinosaur has its own trait as well, so depending on if it's a velociraptor or a T-Rex or whatever, they have their own sort of rampage trait. Controlled Chaos has also got a whole load more of more animals as well included that again have their own unique abilities as well. There's no real one way to win this. You could get tons and tons of dinosaurs, but that might not necessarily be the way forward. It might be that your facilities actually suit the dinosaurs you've got. There was a small gripe that I did have with the game, and the chap from Ninth Haven Games got in contact and explained why that particular gripe doesn't happen. It was in my video I did the example of, well, if there's a T-Rex and a Triceratops that are loose, the T-Rex ignores the Triceratops and goes straight for the guests. And I'm thinking, well, if that was a normal dinosaur game, surely me, possibly. And anyway, it turns out that if dinosaurs killed dinosaurs, it would dep you too many points. They did it in playtesting, and apparently it just ruined the game. So that was interesting to know. Also interesting to know that there were some other cards. There's a manipulation deck. So these are cards that you can either screw over opponents or benefit yourself more so than normal actions. One of them was apparently you could parachute T-Rexes into other people's parks. I really like the idea of that. Just go, here, have a T-Rex. You've got no housing for it. Have a T-Rex. Let it rampage around your park. And apparently it could dep you something up to 50 points. So that is game-changing, really. But yeah, anyway, that aside, yeah, I mean, it's one that when I very first played it, I didn't enjoy it because I just similar to something else. But then I saw the end game and I realised that actually you do get more points for the variety of animals, as well as points for other things that we didn't actually read in the rule book till we got to end game. I was like, oh well, if I'd have known I got points for that, I would have done that instead. So played it again. I really liked it because you could see the end goal. You knew what to work with on. My very first game, I didn't have a dinosaur, and I thought, well, it's a bloody dinosaur game. I should have a dinosaur. But I realised that that's because I needed visitors, and to get visitors, you need hotels. So when I played it the second time, hotel straight away, hotel galore. I had visitors everywhere, raking me in the money, raking me in the dinosaurs, and then it become more of a dinosaur game. To me, if you're playing 3 rounds of a game and you haven't got dinosaurs at that point, so I was definitely doing something wrong. And then the Controlled Chaos expansion is incredible. It adds the aqua dragons, not the aqua dragons, Jesus, aquatic animals. Aqua dragons is something that Jess has. And it also adds the, what are they called? Oh, I've forgotten. I only did it today. Oh, there's another type of animal. The elite animals, that's the one. The elite dinosaurs that it adds. It's also got a Dreadnoughtsaurus. I've never heard of one of those, but it looks incredible. Wonderful little game. And I wish I owned it. Because I don't own it, but I like it. It's a very good work placement.
Very expensive on Kickstarter.
It's Andy's copy, so he paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do more because I think if it went on Kickstarter again with any expansion, I think I might have to get it.
It's one that I looked at, and it was just the money.
Yeah, it's good quality though. It's dual layered boards.
Yeah.
Which are incredible. The production value is really high.
Yeah.
But it could be brought down a little bit and to reduce the cost, but who knows? I quite like the copy he's got, and there's loads of meeples as well. This is a 7.7, and it's ranked 1,223. Yeah, it's quite low. It's quite low. Yeah, I know you're giggling. I think that's because it's not in retail. It's not. I don't even think the US have had the expansion delivered yet.
Wow.
Even though Andy's had it for quite a few weeks now.
Yeah.
Some people in the US haven't even received Control Chaos yet. So.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting as to what's happening there. I think they're an American company, so it's very weird why that's happened. But anyway,
because they don't ship from America, do they? They ship from China, so it depends on how quick the ship.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there we go. That was my number 5.
So on to my number 4. So this is the one that Darius is going to be shocked. I didn't put this on my list until yesterday. That I didn't know it was a worker placement.
Oh, I thought. Oh, not Parks then.
Parks. No, that was another one I added. But this is the main one that I saw, and I was like, oh my god. So this is. I'm shocked, but it's a worker placement. So before anyone says anything, this is a worker placement. This War of Mine. So I did not know it's a worker placement until I read it was a worker placement, and I was like, oh yeah, it is a worker placement because you're placing workers to do actions, and yeah, Darius is looking now.
No, I've not played it, so I don't actually know.
This is, again, I've spoke about this game so many times, and it is one of the probably most depressing games you could ever play, ever. It's effectively, if your life is bad, you play this game because it makes you realise how good your life is, and that's what I do. I've got the video game of this, I've got the board game, and it's what I do. I play this to make me feel better, because otherwise, you're effectively in a war-torn city. You're trying to survive. You can't go out during the day. During the day, you're scavenging around the house, trying to build heaters and just things to survive as long as you can. And then at night, you go out to locations to scavenge for food, probably get killed. You just get medicine. You can guarantee you start with 2 characters. You can guarantee by the end of because it plays over 3 chapters, by the 3rd chapter you don't have at least one of your characters you started with. They will die, and they will die gruesome. You get characters that need cigarettes, and if they don't smoke they get depressed, and then when they get too depressed they commit suicide. Same as coffee, and you get people that want books. So if you need to find books, but you can technically use books to burn and keep your house warm, but if they don't have books they get depressed. And it's just like one thing after another. You're like, okay, this person here can't carry much and is wounded, I'm going to let them die and try and hope that I find someone new that will be better. But then they come along and they're always wounded, so it's kind of, but they might turn up with a gun, and it's one of them. You need to send people out during the night to scavenge, but you can't have someone not sleep. You have to have someone awake guarding your house during the night, so you kind of have to ruin your turns during the day to sleep to try and it's one of them. It just snowballs and gets worse and worse and worse. But it is so fun. The stories, you get the journal, you can get an app as well, and the stories that you're reading. The book is so thick with different situations that can happen at different. It's another originally designed by Awaken Realms, but now it's not. But yeah, it's not published by them anymore. It was. I think it's got the same designer as Nemesis. But It's a really good game. It's just
and
it is a worker placement because soon
it says it on
soon as you think about it, you're like, it is a worker placement. But for me, I just think of it as a really good thematic, story-driven game. That's the way I see it. I don't think of it as that worker placement, but it is. And I've got to mention the people behind this game are releasing. So because this was based on a video game, there's a video game, the second one called Frostpunk, that's based in a snow wasteland. You've got to survive. They are releasing the board game of that soon. Hi, Jess.
See, I've seen loads about Frostpunk. Or just go open a drink.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's fine. Frostpunk looks amazing. If it's anything like this, get it. I'm gonna back it instantly. It's an instant back for me. I love. This is probably one of my favourite games of all time, and I don't think it will ever drop out of there. Yeah. It's depressing. It's miserable, but it's so good. If you don't like depressing, sad games, don't play it. But if you can deal with stories about kids being locked in rooms and dying, and you have to sort of sacrifice people, it takes things to that level where a lot of games wouldn't go, and these are like, I'm doing it because that's what war is.
How many sadistic people are watching right now going, that sounds really fun. Depressing and kids locked in rooms. I definitely want to play that now.
It's amazing. The video game even steps up the notch. There's actually, in the video game, you've actually got to survive with young kids, and they can't do anything, and you've got to try and scavenge and make toys for them, and it just adds a whole nother level of hard. So this is a 7.9 on BGG, and it's rank 147. So 200. So it's a good game. So
I've seen a lot of that being played recently. A lot of posts about it seems to be coming out of the woodwork again
because it's making people feel better about the pandemic.
That's true. Oh, and probably because Frostpunk's come out. Yeah,
because Frostpunk. I've been playing Frostpunk on my PC so a lot. Actually, I've been playing it a lot recently, but I've stopped playing it for other crafting of mine items. Anyway,
nice.
So on to Darius's number 4.
Yeah, so this was in one of my other lists before. Can't remember which one.
Thematic.
Was it my top? That's the one. Yeah, it was the one that just scraped the barrel on the thematic side.
The one that wasn't thematic, but it is thematic.
It's weird because there isn't much thing to it, but when you think about it, it's like, that is actually the Greek economy.
Yeah.
This is designed by 2 Greek designers who have essentially, it is the Greek economy set in a futuristic world. It's not a cooperative game, but you kind of have to work together, especially at the beginning of the game, to try and keep the economy afloat. If the economy plummets and goes to 0, then everybody loses anyway. So it's in everybody's interest to keep it afloat and produce the right goods to sell on. I like the fact that this one is a bit like Stone Age in the fact that you place your workers out and then you carry out actions. But rather than carrying out actions clockwise, all the worker spaces are numbered. So depending on if you do something in step 1 or in step 14, is the order of things. So it could be that you can gain money before you then go and build buildings. So I quite like that. So it's not only working out where you want to go, but in what order you want to do it as well. Again, I like the fact that every round you've got a set amount of points you have to hit, depending on if you play easy, medium, or hard. Easy and medium are too easy; they're really easy to pass. So every time I play expert, it is questionable that when I play it on expert, I can almost do it every time we play it 5-player. But playing it 2-player, we don't get anywhere near close. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. It seems a bit imbalanced depending on the number of players. But yeah, the difficulty level. I like the fact that you can set your difficulty. But yeah, I love the fact that round 1 you've got to hit 18 points each. It works on an average. So if I've got 20 points and you've got 15 points, it averages out. And the slider for the economy goes up and down depending on how well or badly you're doing. It could be that you've got one player just dragging you all the way down. It could be that you've got 4 players above the average and there's one player that's about 20 points behind, and they absolutely destroy the economy. In that sense, you've kind of got to help that player build up a little bit and let them have certain actions so they can get those points. But at the same time, you want to stay on top as well. So very interesting. I want to see this mechanic with more games. Obviously, I know you've got games where you've got semi-co-op traitor aspects, but I want to see more games that have got that trying to hit a target every round, but you're not working together.
Yeah.
That's why it's quite an addictive one to play. But like I said, the theme is very scraping the barrel as well. But for a worker placement, it's top notch. I really enjoy this as a worker placement.
Yeah.
It normally comes out at club night. It's normally one of my top choices of games to play in general, especially if you've got 5 people. But yeah, that is Crisis. It is a 7.6 on the rating, and it's a 971 on the rank.
Okay.
So really quite low. But I think it's like with Dinogenics, it's not. You can't buy it. I only got a hold of it because I bought it second hand.
Okay.
So I don't know where or how you would ever get a hold of it. I think there was a limited print run, but
yeah, it's probably out of print. Because it's probably out of print.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
If you want to see us play, if you want to see a playthrough of it, check out our video on my channel.
Oh yes, we did do. Yeah, we did do. Yeah. I did the how to play as well, didn't I? I think
we did a full how to play everything of this.
Yeah.
It went bad.
Yeah. I don't think we got through many rounds. No, there's not.
I think
not often you.
I screwed us. I think I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? That's it.
Oh, who wants a story? Actually, I better not. I don't know if the guy would watch.
Yeah.
No, probably not. I went to. I'm not going to say the place because it was a very small convention, so there wasn't many people that attended this one. But I went to this said convention, and I played. It was kind of the end of the weekend, and I was roped in to play it, and I really enjoyed it. But one of the guys that I was playing with, I didn't enjoy his company, so to speak.
You know who you are.
Oh, I really hope they're watching. I don't even think he does know who he is, actually, because I've seen him recently at a recent convention, and we were chatting. So, hey, nice guy, but I wouldn't play games with him. Let's just leave it at that, right?
You secretly talking
anyway,
about me,
so
that's what it is.
No, you weren't at this other convention. So anyway, we were playing it, and yeah, I didn't really enjoy this guy's company at all. We were doing fairly bad. It was getting to the point. Anyway, I said, well, what happens if it hits 0? Well, that ends the game. Okay, then I'm going to end this game then. So in my hand, I had every player has to set aside one worker, and it was the strike card. So I essentially went, I'm going to play this. All your workers go on strike, and this guy got so pissed off with me. It was incredible. What are you doing? I want the game to end. I pretended that I didn't like the game to end it, but I loved the game. I absolutely loved the game. But yeah, anyway, it was a bit mean. And then after that game, I got roped into another game with the same guy. I was like, no. Anyway, yeah, I love Crisis though. I'm going to stop there because I really hope the guy's not watching.
Sorry if you are, if you know who you are.
Stop being a bit of an arse in games. There you go.
So
anyway, yeah, Crisis. Yeah, there we go.
So on to my number 3. And I think Darius is not going to enjoy this one. I think he's not going to enjoy my next 2, but this one is Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh, I put that on the list, but I put that as number 10.
Yeah,
I didn't realise. I didn't realise you liked it that much. Fair enough.
I love this game, and I don't have the expansions for this. So this is classic worker placement. This is. I don't do Dungeons and Dragons. I don't really pay attention to any of that. but this game is just so good. I'm blaming Will Wheaton for this game because his playthrough on tabletop got me in wanting this game so bad, and I love it. It is your quintessential worker placement. It's pure worker placement. I think that's why Darius hates it, because you go to a location, do that, and literally that is all you're doing. But it's so fun. You're effectively, if I know, trying to buy the idea of Dungeons and Dragons. So Waterdeep is a big city in the Dungeons and Dragons universe, and you are the leaders of that city, sending out the soldiers, sending out the people that you would play in Dungeons and Dragons. So the clerics, the I don't know the characters, but yeah, you're sending them out doing missions, and you've got owlbears. I wish I had a picture of an owlbear I could put up on the screen right now. Owlbears, man. That is the card I go for when I play this game. And if someone gets owlbears in front of me, I am sad. Because it's owlbears. But yeah, it is just a really enjoyable worker placement. I think this is my most played worker placement. It's one of them games where I will just get it out if I want a enjoyable worker placement game. I know it's not the number one, but there's some other games that I think it's just because the other games are that little bit above. They do a little bit more than just worker placement. But yeah, it's a classic. I know they say the expansions add so much to it, and I will get the expansions one day, but it's finding them now because I think this is 2012 this game was released.
I'm pretty sure Dice and Destiny have got Skull Deep.
Okay.
I think I've seen it in there.
Okay. So yeah, it's one that I will get. It's just I'm one for putting all my pieces in the box, and I like the insert for this, and I think it's that. I don't keep expansion boxes. I throw them out. I'm one of these people.
I've started doing that. I've started throwing my expansion boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. That is my number 3. I don't have stories. I don't do Darius.
No, I must say, I have played. I have played this with the expansion.
Yeah. Enjoyable.
No.
Yeah, but you don't like this game.
However, it does add. I like the fact that there's extra actions you can take down in the Skull Deep.
Yeah.
And I think they give you better rewards, but you get minus points depending on how many skulls you have.
What's happened there?
And I really liked that.
Yeah.
I really like that. It's almost like that risk reward that I was talking about in Architects.
Yeah.
It's almost, if you do naughty actions, you're going to get punished, but you get rewarded more.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I like.
So yeah.
It's popular though. It's a very popular game.
This is a 7.8 on BGG, and the rank is 59. So
yeah, it's crazy.
This is what, 12 years old plus, and it's still up there as one of the, top 100 still.
It probably helps that it's got the D&D name behind it.
Yeah.
A lot of people go, "Oh, I like D&D. What board game shall I get?" Okay, well, it's nothing really. It is D&D universe, but it's not to do with D&D really in terms of mechanics. So the theme is, but I think because you're going out and doing you're the quest master, aren't you? Essentially,
you're the ones that send out the people doing quests. That you would be the ones in D&D doing the quests. You're sending technically, if you play in D&D, you're sending yourself off to do missions. Effectively, if you're a D&D player. I don't know. I've never played D&D.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't say I've had a proper game of it. Yeah.
I've always wanted to try. You need a big group and you need to spend a lot of time playing it, and it's just like don't have time for that.
It's the commitment to D&D that I don't have at all. Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, on to Darius's number 3.
My number 3 is A Feast for Odin. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. So worker placement. This is probably one of the most brain-burning worker placements I've ever played. I know I lent it to you and you didn't actually get a play of it in the end, did you?
No.
Which is a real shame. So essentially, the better the action, the more workers you've got to send out. It's got. I mean, the worker placement bit is probably half the game. The other half is a puzzle game. I think I prefer the puzzle element to it more so, because it's that polyomino trying to fit certain shapes in certain areas. But the worker placement part is to go and get those resources. I think there's something like 80 worker spaces or 60 or 80 spaces you can go to. So when you go, we actually played this the other night, 2-player, and Jade's going, "You've forgotten how to play this, haven't you?" I said, "No, I haven't forgotten. I can't remember what strategy to go for. There's so many spaces. I don't know where to go." It's definitely got a lot of analysis paralysis. It's probably why I don't really play it with 4 people. If you play a 4-player game of this, you are looking at 4 to 5 hours. Mostly because of the analysis paralysis, not because anyone's taken their time. It just is a hard game. I really want to try the expansion. I can't wait to try that. But yeah, essentially this one, you're Vikings, and you're going exploring to get goods to. It's the feast for Odin. You're trying to bring food back to lay on the table, while collecting goods to fill up your island. And yeah, I love the Viking theme. I must admit, it's very good. Love the puzzle theme. It's an Uwe Rosenberg, but it's not a dull one. It's a really interesting one. I still don't know what the best way to get points is. My average points are about 50 odd. And if you play it solo, it says 100 or more and you win it. Well, how the hell do you get 100 points? Who knows? Yeah, but I really do enjoy it. Once you get past that, learning a million spaces of actions, the game's pretty easy after that.
Yeah.
It's sort of easy to learn, hard to master. That's the one. Because the symbology is incredible. Considering how many spaces there are, I know what all of the symbols mean just by looking at them.
Okay.
I don't ever have to look them up. Because you go, oh yeah, I know what that means. There are some little rules. It's not one of those games that you can teach very easily. You can't leave a group of 4 players to just play it because there's too much.
I think that was a problem when I borrowed it from you. I kept on looking at it and going, oh, wow.
I think this is what, because not many games I learn from the rule books. Most games I either get shown or I do watch how to play videos.
Yeah.
This is one of very few games that I did learn from the rule book, and I remember it being really difficult.
Yeah, I don't do rule book videos. I like learning through videos or just messing around with it, basically. Yeah.
No, fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 3. It is an 8.2. It's really highly ranked, and it's 22 on the
Nice.
list. So I think that is. Oh no, Viticulture was one above that, 21. So it's my second most in the rank, rightfully so. I just wish I could get a hold of the expansion. I don't know where or how to get a hold of it.
Maybe message Uwe.
Yeah. Oi, we did.
I like your games. Can you send me a expansion, please? You never know.
I think it's Z. I think it's Z-Man,
Z-Man
Games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not that easily accessible, considering they're the guys responsible for Pandemic and such.
I think it's because the expansion it costs about the same as the base game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was about 60 quid when I did see it.
Yeah.
I wish I picked it up now, but oh well. Anyway,
So,
that's my number 3.
Yeah, on to my number 2. And before I click it and say it, shh, don't say anything, Darius. Peace.
Oh.
Peace.
Oh no, it's fine. It's not a thematic game, so.
My number 2. If anyone saw the thematic games, knows what I'm going to announce now. It's Dinosaur Island. I love this game. It is a
worker placement.
It is full-on worker placement. It is.
Yep.
I messaged Darius earlier on, winding him up, saying this was Dinogenics, whatever it is.
The better.
Well, this is the better version.
Yeah.
This is they're trying to copy this because this came out first. This, for me, I love this game. I love the style of it. I love the dinosaur meeples. I love the rolling the big chunky DNA dice and the park. I mean, Totally Liquid adds so much more to the game. You can add 1 module or 2 modules, or you could just chuck them all in like I do, because all the extras. I want the extra water parks. I want everything. I want it all. It's a table hog. It's a massive table hog. It's just, for me, I really enjoy it. I want to play the other one, but for me, I love the Larry theme. I love that it feels so 90s. You just look at it and you're like, it's so 90s. It's just full on, in your face, early 90s. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's something about it. The meeples. There's so many meeples. Especially because I've got the totally wicked. The deluxe second edition that comes with just so much more. And I've got the snap band bracelet. It's the first player marker. I love that. Again, so 90s. The one bad thing about this game, it all comes in the box, so everything fits perfect. You take it out of the punch boards and take it out, that box will never close again unless you buy an insert or make an insert for the game. Luckily for me, I bought an insert for it, for that and Totally Liquid, so everything fits perfect. But literally before that, you probably have that much overhang on the box where nothing fits back in there. It's just, for me, it's just such a fun game. It's I think we were discussing earlier, it's more about the DNA than the park. It's more about creating the dinosaurs.
One of my friends stated that it's more to do with the DNA part of it than the actual park side, which if you look at it that way, it is.
Yeah, there is the park. You are trying to put the dinosaurs in the park, and if you put too many dinosaurs and you don't have your security level up, they do eat people. Then you get the hooligan visitors that will just jump through the queues and will mess up your point scoring. And
that's a random addition. I thought that's really quite.
I like that. I like the fact that you've got the people that come in the park that will skip the queues and will lose you points, but then you've got the VIPs. Huh?
I said a bit like when you go to Thorpe Park.
Yeah. I was going to say something then, but I thought I'm going to leave it there. But then you've got the VIPs now that come in and give you extra points, and it's just a really nice game. It's really enjoyable. It does go on a long time. You can do 3 different modes. You've got short, medium, and long. The long, I always play that just because you feel like you never complete your park otherwise. You want your park full, and if you do a short game, you start getting into it, and it's like, oh, it's over, and you're like, oh, I wanted to do that, I wanted to do this, there's so many different options you can do. But yeah, it's definitely a really good game, in my opinion. I know Derek.
Well, I'm gonna clear some stuff up. Right, I don't hate on this game, right? It's not that. I mean, I would choose not to play it, but I don't hate the game. It is really well produced. It is popular for the right reasons. The only reason why before I did was because it wasn't thematic, and so yes, it's a worker placement. Yeah, and I agree. And it is actually I really like that there's different worker placement sections because it's in 5 phases or something. So that's great. It was just personally for me, I was like, Jurassic Park board game, and I was really let down. That's the only reason why. And I'm still a bit sad about that. I must admit, the very first time I did play it, I played the short game, which you're right, you barely get into it.
Yeah, you don't. You sort of start getting into it, and it's like game over, and you're like, oh, my part's got like a few things in, and you've got nothing. If you play a long game, you fill up your park.
And I have played with the Totally Liquid. I liked the baby dinosaurs that it adds, or one of the modules does.
Yeah,
that was really cute. I like that aspect. I think I wouldn't buy it. That's the limit I go to. I potentially try it again.
I love the Mega Rex
maybe
in the Totally Liquid. They made it so the mouth could fit the T-Rex meeple in it. They made it purposely so you could fit a T-Rex in the mouth of the Mega Rex. Yeah. And then you've got the version the deluxe version, the Kickstarter version, came with the Pandasaurus dinosaur.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's so cool.
So we have, but this is their old logo Pandasaurus, not their new logo I'm glad because I like the old logo.
We won't go into that. We were talking about that before.
While we're
on that aspect, we obviously saw recently. I mean, I didn't know about it, but you did. Was the Dinosaur Island Roar and Write?
Yes.
Which is the roll and write version, which I'm intrigued by. But also today we saw the Dinosaur World, which is going to be its own standalone game based on.
I think that was supposed to be a hush hush thing for the minute.
No, it was public.
Oh, okay.
No, it's public. It was Pandasaurus at Gen Con.
Okay.
It was they'd announced a few games, but. Yeah, it was Roar and Write. Then they announced Dinosaur World because I'm not part of that. I'm not part of the secret Discord.
Yeah. Okay.
This was on. I saw this on Instagram actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was this weekend they'd announced it. So yeah.
I've seen some images from the Dino World.
I haven't seen any images. They weren't showing that.
It's a standalone dinosaur island, but set. It's effectively Jurassic World. But dinosaurs.
Yeah, so this is what the guys were saying. I think it was the creators were on a live stream saying, "Well, we've all seen Jurassic Park, and then it goes into Jurassic World. Well, this is kind of the same thing." Yeah.
It looks amazing. It looks amazing, and it's going to be an instant back for me. Same as everyone right. Just damn you, Pandasaurus games.
And the gods love dinosaurs, which is not dinosaur.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Dinosaur Island related at all, but they seem to love their dinosaur games. It seems. Pandasaurus.
Pandasaurus. That's the name.
Well, yeah.
And going completely off topic, seeing we're talking about Pandasaurus, Apollo looks amazing as well.
Yeah, I'd really want to try that cooperative space game.
Yeah. So we'll stop. We'll do the talking afterwards. We got a bit distracted.
Yes.
So onto Darius's number 2.
Oh yeah, my number 2. Yeah, good point. So this one is Robinson Crusoe, which is a cooperative game. It is story based. You have, depending on what scenario you do, depends on what you do. But the mechanics at core are worker placement. So you've got 2 workers each. You're going to be sending these out to either do exploration, go and hunt for animals. You might go and build. The reason why I really like this as a worker placement is if you do if you send 1 worker, you might do the action. And if you send 2 workers, you definitely do the action. So, twice as many workers, but it's definite, but then you don't do enough. So sometimes you have to take the risk. You can back up each other's workers. So say, for example, if I had a worker that couldn't do a lot, because everyone's got asymmetrical characters. So it might be that I'm the chef and actually I've got no chef-related actions to do. So I might go back up the soldier, go and kill some bears. It's a wonderful little game. I like the fact that, there's lots of actions you can go and do across the board. You can build items to try and survive. You can try and build a shelter. You can go and explore new tiles. You can go and fight. There's just so many actions you can do, and it's a cooperative worker placement, which not just like Crisis where it's semi-co-op. This is fully co-op, and I love the story behind it as well. The Search for King Kong one. That's there's still one I need to try, but it looks immense.
This is on my wish list.
Yeah, I mean it's horrible rulebook. I did get through it. Actually, it was Rodney Smith Watch It Played that helped me get through the rulebook. But once he explained a few things, the rulebook kind of made sense. But yeah, it's a lovely little game, a brilliant co-op. I would highly recommend it for anybody to try. It's a hard one to learn. I'll give you that. But once you know the basics, it's actually pretty simple. It's like anything. As soon as you know what it all means, it's a dot. But it's hard to.
But this rulebook is nothing compared with their Mars version.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I've heard bad things about it, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
But there you go. This is a 7.9, and it's ranked 47, so it is in the top 100.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, on to my number one. And anyone who has seen any of my top 10 lists will know what this is.
I'll be shocked if they don't.
And I swear, I am not paid by this guy to put this on my number one list for pretty much everything. I promise you, I'm not
lies.
I'm not doing it because he sent me a free version of the new edition. I'm doing it because I love this game so much. So this is Obsession, and it's a game that I never thought I would like in a million years. Yeah.
I knew it.
He knew it. That's the thing. Anyone who's seen the top 10 lists will know that this is my number one. It's just something about this game. It works. The theme I hate. I hate the theme. It's not my thing. I would never think Pride and Prejudice is a game that I would be like, oh yeah, I love. But the mechanics, the gameplay, the aspects of each meeples do certain things. You have different worker meeples, and they all have different things. It just works for what it is. You're trying to build your town, your estate, while you're trying to date the Fairchilds, and if like you have different phases where you can woo them, and then they come into your household, and you get gives you an extra card to play during your game. It just works. It just honestly works so well, and the guy who designs this is an amazing bloke. I've spoken to him loads. He messaged me once I did the video of this and was like, wow, I love your video. This is his child, this is his baby, this game. He spent a lot of time creating this, making it what it is, and yeah, he's done a really good job. It just works. The theme, ignore the theme. You can't, because it kind of, but you know, it's you have to kind of take it with a pinch of salt that okay, it's a boring theme, but it works. When you play it, you're like, actually that makes sense. And the second edition they've upgraded, so there's the tiny little cards in the first edition that you use, tiny, the smallest deck of cards, and shuffling them is like the worst thing on the planet. The second edition, he's got the bigger cards because everyone said that they didn't like the small cards, and he's changed it up to make it easier to set up, because I think the most daunting thing about this game is the setup. It is awful. It takes a long time to set up. It takes a long time to set up, but he's made the second edition faster to set up. He's added like you have like, I think there's like 5 or 6 households now, and he's actually got individual boxes for each one of them, so all of your components are in an individual box. So you just get the box out, and that's everything that you start with, and all you need to do is put the tiles in a bag, and you're effectively nearly ready to go. And yeah, he does. I mean, with the Kickstarter, I mean, when I bought this originally, about a month after I received it through the post, he sent me the promo cards that the people I think you could help make in the first Kickstarter campaign. You could help design some tiles and some cards, and he sent everyone a copy of them for free. And same as the new edition, he's actually released all of the promo cards that he wasn't even going to do, and there's so many extra cards he's releasing. He's just like, oh, I've got them, I might as well give them to you. And yeah, he definitely has listened to the people, and he's trying to improve the game, and I'm hoping it's going to be that little bit better, just for setup and that.
I really want to try this just because you're rating it really highly. Yeah. So it makes me, I'm really intrigued. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, should be getting the game soon. I know it might be in the UK right now. It might be. It was on a boat somewhere. It was last video we did. It was sailing on from China, so it might be here in the UK now. I got a delivery the other day that I thought it was it, and I was like, oh my god, and it turned out to be a review game that I didn't even know I was getting. It was like,
I mean, that's still okay,
yeah,
but
it's
you
still
know,
good,
yeah.
but it wasn't. I was kind of hoping it would be the new version, because I was kind of holding out on doing my unboxing videos because I thought I was getting this, but then it wasn't. I was like, oh damn. I still unboxed the new one. But yeah.
So what's the ranking on this?
So this is an 8.1, so very highly rated, and then the rank is shocking for how high the rank is. The score is. It's 1062.
But it's not. You can't get it in shops and stuff, can you? So
not in the UK. In America,
no,
that it's because he is an American-based company. He's a publisher, done everything himself. It's all self-made company. So obviously, getting it over to the UK is a lot harder for him than over in America. It's probably available in some shops, kind of like Dittic in this country. Obviously, that sold worldwide through Kickstarter, but it's going to be only available in UK shops. But yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, on to Darius's number one.
Okay, so my one was in my top 10 games, and it is definitely on my top number one worker placement by far. This one is Ex Libris, which is at its core a worker placement, because you have to go and send workers out into the town to go and collect your books to put in your library. But it's more of a tableau builder, really. But it still counts under worker placement. So like I said, it is a case of you're building your library. The theme isn't all there, but it's set in a fantasy world. So you're going, oh, you got to build a library, but it's all fantasy, and you get different characters. So you might get the Sasquatch, or you might be the Goblin. You could be a witch, a wizard. There's so many different characters. There's even a gelatinous cube that you can play as. And these workers are sent out across towns into different buildings, which give different effects in themselves. So you've got the bookseller, the book swap, you've even got the wishing well. You throw books into a well to get more books back. There's lots of different abilities that come out. It's not that popular. I've not seen it played by many people, but the mechanics in this are just wonderful. And I don't know why it's not played more. When you play with more players, there is more player interaction. There are certain characters that push certain other characters back. I think my favourite has got to be Goblin. Goblin can go. So say if you've got a worker already in a location, my Goblin can come along and pickpocket you. So there's some really cool little thematic things like that, where you can start stealing off other players, or you can push people back. You can. The snowman freezes certain locations, so if the snowman visits the book swap, then nobody else can go there. Really nice asymmetrical abilities in there as well. I love the score sheet, the fact that it's actually a dry wipe score sheet.
Nice.
There's not many games that do that. I know it's only a small thing, but I'd really like the fact that, not papers or anything. But at its core, it's really more of a set collector. It's trying to sort out certain books and building your tableau and getting them in alphabetical order. But I love the worker placement aspect on it, and the fact that you've got asymmetrical characters, so it's not that all the workers do the same thing. That's a really cool little addition. It is a 7.2 on the ranking. It's the rating, and on the ranking it's 608. So it's not that popular. I think you can't get a hold of it anymore. It is Renegade Games, the same guys who do Clank and stuff. But for some reason, it's just not available. I managed to luckily get a copy for about 50 quid, but I haven't seen it anywhere else for sale anywhere. Maybe they re-release it, or if they do a reprint, maybe that would be quite cool. I desperately need another copy because my cards are looking a bit tired. Considering it's one of my favourite games that I used to play. When I first got it, I played it so much that the cards are getting a bit worn. I haven't sleeved them because they're a really odd shaped card. They're not standard. And the last I looked, the sleeves are really expensive because they're a particular size. Really weird. They're almost they're sort of like a standard card, but then they're trimmed at the top, so they feel a bit more square than a normal standard card. It's really bizarre. I cannot decent price sleeves anywhere for them, but hey ho. So that is my number one.
So any of these, I'll go on to the final screen. So any of these games on our list, remember you can get discount from Dice and Destiny in Canterbury, 10% off on any of these games on the list. These games, not any game in the shop. These games with the discount code workers, or if you want to get any of the small box games from the previous video, it's the code smallbox. So go in there, just tell them at the till or online.
Their website, they do online deliveries now, which is really good.
So guys, let us know what you think of our lists. Would you change any of it up? Are there any games that you like the look of? Any games that you think, wow, I want to try that, or anything? Any ideas for a list? I was actually thinking during the video for some lists some top 10 lists. I've got too many. I'm going to start up. I might be doing a list by myself soon because I know I want to do a horror list and you don't.
We've talked about horror, and I know I own one, and I own Manchester Madness. I would potentially put Paranormal Detectives on it, but that's not really horror. That's just a party game. It's just not. So, my other one that I said that was kind of on the list, I've got Fury of Dracula.
Yeah, that's horror.
But that means I've got a top 2.
I've probably got 10. I'm trying to look at games if I've got any up here that are horror. Technically, you could class Pandemic as a horror.
It's
End of the World?
No.
I was trying to push the boat out.
Yeah. I mean, it's horrific now. Actually living in one, but it's just it's the same as with movies though. Horror movies don't do anything for me. It's not my thing. But Manchester Madness, I mean, I'll say now because it won't be a list I can do because I don't own any. But Manchester Madness would absolutely be number one if someone said they want a horror game. That one is weirdly not a game that I enjoy for mechanics. The mechanics are okay. Yeah, they're not great. I do actually play this one for theme. You have to be in the mood for a story. You can't just go, you can't skip the story. Otherwise, none of it has any meaning.
But
otherwise,
that to me is a good horror game where it's all about the story, not the gameplay. I can think of 3 in my collection that is about the story, not the gameplay. That makes it, okay. One of them, you kind of pushing the boat out. I kind of role play the horror aspect of it because again, I'm blaming Will Wheaton Tabletop for this damn game. But it's one of them that you kind of you horror games you have to sort of get into, and But I love dark games. I'm that weird person.
Yeah. You might have to go alone.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I might.
Maybe that's. Why don't you do that one as the one? Because next week we're doing one, but the week after I'm away, so we can't do it the week after. So maybe that could be the one to fill the gap.
That's what I'm possibly thinking.
That'd be a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, it might only be a half-hour video with me just going through my top 10, but even though this one's gone on some long old time, but so that's it, guys. So anyone going to comment and let us know what you want to see next, or any ideas on games? I'm looking. There's no comments yet, or unless am I missing it? No.
I know that Dan was talking in here.
Horrors, horrors is one we should do. I think that's going to be not next week, the week after that I'm going to do solo. I think that is, no, I think.
Oh, someone said they want horrors today.
Yeah, I think it's top 10 card games.
Is that what someone? Oh, that's an interesting one. Who put that?
Jasmine. I could do card games.
What do we class as a card game?
So predominantly card-driven game. So Marvel Legendary.
Okay. Yeah.
Evolution style game. That's a predominantly card-driven game. Card-driven games.
What about? So, well, deck builders.
Deck builders, yeah, deck builders, yeah.
Okay. I've got 10 deck builders alone.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a list. But yeah, I think horror will be the one that I do when you're away. I can do that.
But the only reason why I questioned about the card game, because do people mean card games as in like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering? No, because there is no way I'll do a list on that, I'm afraid.
Deck builders. Yeah, I think
deck builders.
I think for me, I mean,
yeah.
For the next week's one, we already know what it's going to be. It's going to be abstract. I think there's going to be one game on there that people are going to be like, oh, why has he done that? Classic. Classic.
Yeah, I look forward to doing the abstract one because I've got some interesting ones in that list. Yeah.
For me, I am struggling with. They're classed as abstract, but I don't see them as abstract. So you're looking at all like the Uwe, like technically. Oh, why is your camera doing that? I've got to sort that out.
Oh, they are all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all abstract.
So like Cottage Garden, some, all of them, they're all abstract.
Yeah. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what we come up with.
I've got like more than 10 of them. I love them sort of games. But yeah. But anyway. We will end it there.
Nice.
We've done a good video. Have we got any more left? Top 10 games of all time. We've done that, Dan. We've done.
Yeah, that was
our second game.
Weeks ago.
Yeah, check it out. It'll be on YouTube or look on Facebook. It'll be on my page on Facebook. Top 10 educational games.
Oh yeah, actually, that would be an interesting one to do, especially considering I work in a school.
Yeah.
I know quite a few that would be very educational.
I'm trying to think of what I would do. Oh, I'd have to do some research on that. I can think of a couple.
Yeah.
One of them that I've only played once, but I loved it and I want to get it. Top 10 starter games. That is probably Gateway. We've done that. Gateway. We've done that. Dan, you've missed out on a couple. So check out the previous videos. We have done the starter games, the all time. We started with the big ones. You know, the Gateways was the one.
Before we got the codes, we were going to do the top 10 games we don't like.
Yeah.
But then we can't use the code for. We hate this game. Don't buy it.
Yeah.
Here's the
one was top 10 games we hate that weren't Monopoly. That was going to be last week's probably video, but it couldn't happen because obviously we can't go. Yeah, go to Dice and Destiny, buy Monopoly. No, it's not Monopoly. It's not Monopoly. Buy Catan.
I wonder if we could do a top 10 games that the other person doesn't like.
Oh, but I don't know 10 games that you don't like. Actually, Dinosaur. I don't know. I don't know if I know 10 games that you don't like.
Okay.
I know.
That'd be interesting.
Everyone knows my 1 and 2.
What's your number 2? I know number 1.
Catan is my number.
What's
2.
number 2?
Catan is number 2.
I don't like Catan.
No, but that would be my number 2.
Oh no! I'm saying that we should do one that the other person doesn't.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I can think of Dinosaur. I can think of Dinosaur Island for you, but.
Well, there was 2 in your list.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think what they are.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh yeah, but in 2 that would be a top 2. That would be boring.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, well, we won't do that.
Yeah, but yeah, if you guys, what? You go.
I was going to say a really good one would actually be maybe games that we were shocked by.
But again, everyone would know my number 1.
Oh yeah, of course they would. Yeah. Oh well, we'll let the guys decide.
I want to do a list without obsession on it. I keep doing lists, and they keep ending up with obsession. I'll just have to.
Anyone would say you're obsessed.
Yeah,
by
they
it.
will. It's one of them. But I'm trying to think of lists. I want to do tile placement. That is one I want to do.
That'll be an interesting one. I've got quite a few actually. I've got more than I realised I had when you mentioned that.
I want to do tile placement. I'm trying to think. You could do a top 10 roll and write, so I don't think I could.
Oh, top 10. Yeah, I'll do top 10 roll and write. It's easy.
I'm trying to look at games I've got up here. We could do classics. We could do top 10 classic games. So like.
Actually, I do have quite a few classic games I enjoy.
You have to say like beyond earlier than 20. What would you class as classic?
Classic, I would say, is anything sort of 2000 or before.
Oh yeah, okay.
As in 90s and before, I'd say.
Oh, okay. I'd have to do some research for that.
Okay.
Top sci-fi games.
I've actually got quite a few sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two top 10 sci-fi games now. So top 10 sci-fi. I could do top 10 sci-fi, easy.
Yeah. I've actually got a lot more sci-fi than I realised.
I could pretty much do a top 10 Mars games.
Top 10 Mars, yeah.
I could pretty much do close to top 10 Mars games. You know, I've got space games, sci-fi games that I can't even get that out. Oh, damn it. That aren't even published.
Let's show them. It's in my list. Oh well. Oh yeah, that's
I've
true.
Got
Can't.
I got it out without knocking anything. See, sci-fi game that's not released.
Oh, have they gone on another Kickstarter?
No, I don't know if they will. But yeah, but it's such a pretty game, and it has lovely spaceships.
Oh, toys!
It's effectively the space race. It's epic. But yeah, that's a unpublished game that I don't know if it will ever get published because it was for the anniversary. It was for the 50th anniversary of the
Moonlander, wasn't it?
So it was kind of I don't know. Yeah, one you've not done that I've not missed. Yeah, the sci-fi. Yeah, so sci-fi is definitely looking like it's there. Give it a vote.
Go onto the group.
Yeah, go onto the group. If you're not a member of the Meeples Peoples group, join the Meeples Peoples group and give it a vote. Technically, I will mention if anyone watches that's not a member of the Meeples Peoples group, if you have any board game related photos, add them to my pinned post. You could potentially win your photo as my header photo for a month. I started that back up.
I've never won that ever.
No. I keep thinking one day you will, and
it'll be the one time that I just add Scythe to the photo.
Yeah. I think
because I've added lots of other games recently.
Yeah, top. Sorry, I'm just seeing more lists coming up. Top hardest games we've played.
Oh yeah, I'd like to do that one.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah. My problem is I'm thinking the three games that came into my head are all the same publisher.
I think yeah, because I get games quite quick. I'm not smart by any means, but when it comes to games, you've only got to show me once, and I kind of get them. But there are a few, especially a couple that are in my collection, that just blow my mind. To the point, I think a lot of ones with analysis paralysis. That's a really good. I'd like to do. Are we
going to go with hard for learning or hard for the gameplay?
Good point.
That
I'd say
that's.
I'd say maybe the top 10 complex games.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm trying to think of 10
games. Because there's lots of games to learn are really basic. In fact, most of them, even the ones that I'm saying are hard to, in my mind that I've got in my head, they're hard to. No, they're easy to learn still.
Yeah.
I think anyone can play it, but could you play it well?
See, I was thinking, for me, hard games, it would be challenging games that you don't win at all the time. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I would say, hardest games. That's the way I would take that. Like, hard, games that you play that you're like, I'm not going to win this, but I enjoy the game. We all know Solar Storm. Yeah. Solar Storm. Anything by Matt Leacock.
Just top 10 Matt Leacock games.
Yeah, that's what it would be. It would be effectively Matt Leacock, or Matt Leacock, Aiden, Matt Leacock.
Cool. Well, we've got quite a few ideas there, dude. So that's great. Thanks everybody for commenting.
If anyone wants to add them to the poll, just so I don't forget them. So if you're watching this, go onto the group and just add them onto the poll, just so they're on there, because that poll will get moved. Obviously, we're good for the next 2 weeks, but I will be adding the poll probably soon, so you guys can vote, and you've got a good time for you to pick it. But we're going to be live Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Your choice.
It might be. I think Tuesday might have to be Tuesday.
So I will. Yeah. So it's going to be a quick one. The turnover will be quick, so I will get an event created right now. So join the event. Let us know you're coming.
Yeah, it's really awkward that I'm going to be on holiday. I mean, I know. Sorry about that.
I might be going away soon, depending on if I can. I don't know.
Yeah.
Top publishers. That's another one.
Top publishers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Like that one.
Yeah.
Because that would be, rather than games, it will be, I know you're number one. But yeah, publishers sounds like a good one, actually.
But then we could do, one day, just throwing the bolt out, while we're still nattering, we could do top 10 games from a certain publisher.
Okay.
So like top 10 Z-Man games.
Yeah, Z-Man games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be quite a tricky one, but yeah, I think that would work. Yeah.
Yeah. Or top 5s, maybe top 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be better.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're spitballing ideas here. We could do that. We'll do that another.
Yeah.
We're spitballing ideas separately.
So
thanks for
guys,
everybody.
Put some comments on to let us know on the poll post, and we will get it. So it's on my Meeples People's group. So we'll end that there. Again, I thank you guys for watching. Please consider my Patreon, Darius's Patreon, joining all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitters. I even started a TikTok once, and
What?
Yeah, I did like 3 videos and got like 10 likes and was like, nope. So yeah. Yeah, so join all of our social medias. Consider £1 a month. I mean, it's the price of a coffee. No, you effectively probably lose more than £1 down the back of a sofa every month. Just think of us as that little hole in the sofa.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah. You won't notice it. It's £1. It will help me out. It helped Darius out. But yeah, buy from the hole in the sofa.
On that note, bye then.
But yeah,
cheers for watching.
Cheers, guys. Bye.